Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
People really don't know what their expenses will be because they don't know how long that they're going to live.
Americans are worried they won't have enough saved for retirement now more than ever.
Retirement is going to cost, for many folks, over $1 million.
Is no sure thing in investing, but a lot of people think that annuities may come close to that.
It's going to more safe things that they know. If they know they're going to need that money to supplement their retirement, well, then you can't play that risk.
This is the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr., founder and partner of Heischman Financial Services, serving the Columbus and surrounding areas. Jon specializes in educating pre-retirees and retirees about safe money strategies and ideas. Now, it's the Safe Money and Retirement Show. Here's Jon Heischman Sr.
Living past 90. How to play the long game on retirement and tax planning. Good morning. This is Jon Heischman bringing you the Safe Money and Retirement Show, as I do every Saturday morning. I'm glad you took the time to listen, as I'm going to talk about the potential of living past age 90. One of the most challenging factors to account for is my clients' retirement planning is longevity. What are the chances at least one partner in a couple living to age 90 or beyond is higher than most people think? And speaking of a couple, retirement planning has to continue to the surviving spouse, as females historically outlive males. It's critical that the retirement plan continues for the surviving spouse. Factors affecting longevity would include health, family history, gender. Again, women tend to live longer than men. Marital status, wealth, and profession. This is separate from life expectancy, which is simply an average of millions of people with diverse backgrounds and circumstances. Retirement planning for all my clients entails addressing a fundamental uncertainty. How long are you going to live? How long will your money last? Individuals with a reasonable expectation of living into their 90s, the complexity only increases. You know, most people don't think they're going to live as long as they probably will. So retirement planning, which income is probably the main focus in retirement planning, we have to make sure it's going to be there. Not to age 85, not to age 90, but beyond. How do we accomplish that? Very simply, by making sure there are sources of guaranteed income that's going to last a lifetime. Now, for those that don't have pensions, which isn't unusual today, income planning has to rely on Social Security and using the strategies that are going to provide guaranteed income, not estimates, but guaranteed. Whether you live to 90, 95, 100, it doesn't matter. That income has to be guaranteed. So take some time this weekend and look at your current plan. What sources of guaranteed income do you have? I hope you have planned with guaranteed sources of income, but what I see day in and day out, most have not. If you haven't, give me a call. We'll talk about that either in person or we can schedule a phone call. 888-426-0177. That number again, 888-426-0177. One of the most important things that I do with clients is regular reviews of their retirement planning and their sources of income. This includes not only determining how much can be withdrawn, but also which accounts to tap into and when. I want to talk about some planning issues that need to be considered in making sure you ensure that those living on extended retirement don't run out of money during the rest of their life. What about the likelihood of living until age 90? According to mortality tables from the Social Security Administration, half of Americans who reach age 65 can expect to live to at least 85 for men and 88 for women. So those of you that have tuned in and you're age 65, men, you can expect to live to age 85, and those gals to age 88. Also, the probability of a 62-year-old living to at least age 90 is 30.1% for the average man and 41.8% for the average woman. Again, this is according to Social Security Administration and the Society of Actuaries. Here's another statistic. There's a 59.3% chance that at least one spouse of a couple that is age 62 will live to age 90, according to the same data. Those included in this table, they're generally wealthier than the average American. Wealth can be a positive longevity factor, so this data can be applicable to many clients today. Good example, there are so many more millionaires and increasing than there were 20 years ago. So planning with guaranteed sources of income is critical. I think, and what I always do is encourage to plan early, then revise as needed. With planning needing to start as early as possible and continue well into retirement years, it's important for my clients that are in their 40s and 50s to max out contributions to their 401k or other employer-sponsored retirement plans. The more money you have going into retirement, the more income that can be generated. That makes sense. But more importantly, the longer it can last. And those that are self-employed or maybe have side jobs need to make sure they're maxing out a self-employed retirement plan. The regular retirement planning review process includes assessing my client's progress on accumulating a sufficient retirement nest egg, projecting how long this nest egg, coupled with other sources of guaranteed income, is going to last into retirement. If there is an annual review and I find clients are behind in their asset base, we need to look at adjustments that can be made. These might include increasing savings if possible, or there could be a situation where that individual needs to work longer, especially if there is a reasonable expectation of living to 90 or beyond. Another very important aspect of retirement planning is I have to take a look at all sources of potential retirement income. These could include individual retirement accounts, 401ks, and other tax-sheltered retirement plans, taxable income accounts, Social Security, workplace pensions, annuities, income from employment, whether you're full or part-time or self-employment, income realized from the sale of a business, any potential inheritance, including inherited IRAs. Inherited IRAs, that's a big one today. I'm seeing more situations where a spouse or child inherits IRAs. Planning for inherited IRAs can be a whole planning source in itself. I want to be sure to review the best options for each of the income sources that I just mentioned, and this needs to be done on a regular basis. Also, I want to make sure that all retirement plan accounts from former employers are accounted for and invested properly. There are more old 401k plans from a former employer that are just sitting there that haven't been addressed as far as a rollover. It's always best to review your options as soon as possible so you can take control of that money instead of a 401k administrator doing the investment for you. For those married couples, it's important to consider what retirement income looks like for the surviving spouse into their 90s. As I mentioned earlier, retirement planning has to continue for a surviving spouse prior to the passing of the spouse. I'm going to take a break, but in the meantime, I want you to think about your situation and give me a call with your questions and concerns. 888-426-0177. Again, that number is 888-426-0177. Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman. For more information, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Or visit their website at HeischmanFS.com. More of the Safe Money and Retirement Show in a moment.
Life expectancy is at all-time highs, so that means you've got a future to plan for at any age. If you have longevity in your family tree, then you need financial education from someone with the experience and knowledge to guide you into and through your retirement years. Jon Heischman and the folks at Heischman Financial Services are committed to helping you achieve your retirement goals with a low-key and trustworthy approach. Call Heischman Financial Services today to get started on your retirement future. Call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Heischman Financial Services has your future in mind.
Welcome back to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman. To contact Jon, the number to call is 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Once again, here's Jon Heischman.
Welcome back to the second part of the Safe Money and Retirement Show. I'm Jon Heischman that brings you this show each week. Throughout the show, I give you the number to call, 888-426-0177. That is available 24/7. Or if you want to call me direct, my office number is 614-861-7055. I want to continue my discussion on retirement income sources, and one of the main sources for the majority of retirees, and in some cases, their only source of retirement income, is Social Security.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
And the key to planning is when to claim Social Security for most people. And I think, as most of you know, benefits can be claimed as early as age 62, with the maximum benefit available at age 70. For those individuals who reasonably expect to live to age 90, it can make sense to wait longer to claim. This will provide a larger monthly benefit, and if that individual lives until age 90, they will have exceeded their break-even point versus having claimed at an earlier age. It's particularly important for married couples to be strategic about their claiming, especially for couples with big earning gap. It can make sense for the higher earning spouse to wait longer, possibly to age 70, to claim their benefit. This is going to ensure that if they die first, the surviving spouse will receive the highest survivor's benefit. With the lower earning spouse claiming earlier, this also provides the couple with added cash flow earlier in retirement. Such a big part of retirement income planning. Develop a retirement withdrawal strategy. I think the fun part is designing a retirement income plan. Once my clients reach retirement age, it's so important to develop a retirement withdrawal strategy that both supports their desired retirement lifestyle and that positions their nest egg to potentially extend past age 90, preferably for the rest of their life. The best withdrawal strategy is going to evolve over retirement. In the early years, I think it makes sense to tap retirement accounts such as traditional IRAs, especially if my client is not working full-time and hasn't claimed Social Security benefits. One approach, which I've talked about on previous shows, is the bucket strategy. Under this strategy, my clients would create 3 retirement buckets. Bucket number 1, this bucket would be used to fund near-term cash needs, perhaps 2 to 3 years worth of expenses. This bucket would be invested in low-risk liquid holdings, for example, a money market fund, or it could be short-term bonds such as treasuries. Bucket number 2, this is for immediate term of 3 to 5 years out. This bucket should contain a mix of stocks, bonds, and other cash investments with a conservative tilt. The money in this bucket would shift to bucket 1 over time. And bucket number 3. This is geared towards long-term growth. Investments here would be stocks, other growth-oriented holdings. And in this bucket would be the most volatile portion of a client's portfolio and would need the most rebalancing and attention year after year. What about Roth IRAs in retirement income planning? Now, these can be very beneficial, especially for clients who expect to live into their 90s. The account can grow tax-free, can be tapped tax-free for withdrawals as long as the client is age 59 and a half or older. Roth accounts, they're not subject to required minimum distributions. Reduced RMDs can result in lower tax liabilities and allow money in that Roth IRA to continue to grow. Additionally, Roth IRAs can be a solid estate planning tool for those clients who have non-spousal beneficiaries under the current inherited IRA rules. What about a Roth conversion? We've all heard a lot about Roth conversions over the last several years because it's especially attractive when tax brackets are lower than normal or while living. We want to take a look at your individual situation. Is a conversion right for you? It may be, it may not, but believe me, it's worth looking into. Let me touch on tax planning because taxes can take a large bite out of every client's nest egg. So, tax planning in retirement is critical. Managing that tax liability greatly affects the level at which clients can spend in retirement. Tax planning strategies can also include determining which accounts to tap into and when to tap into these accounts, using Roth accounts, including Roth conversion, managing those required minimum distributions to the fullest extent possible, and maximize Social Security and pension claiming decisions. There's a lot involved in retirement planning. That's why it's got to be done right. Many things to take into consideration and making sure you're going to work with and get the advice of a retirement planner. Not to make things more complicated, but what about long-term care planning? As clients reach their 80s and 90s, they may have care needs ranging from help with daily tasks, around-the-clock nursing home. Funding these needs is an important part of planning for those individuals that will have added longevity. Obviously, the longer we live, the greater the need for long-term care planning. This planning could entail purchasing a long-term care insurance policy or one of the new hybrid life insurance or annuity plans that include some long-term care coverage along with a long-term care policy. Many individuals are unable to put together a long-term care plan. So another option would be to put together a plan where you self-insure at least a portion of the cost. But it needs to be brought to the attention of every client. So at least they're aware of the potential risk they're facing when we take into consideration longevity. The longevity risk in retirement today is probably the biggest risk retirees face. A short-term plan does not work today because you may think that there's no way you're going to live to age 90, but what if you do? And I sure don't want to have to go back to a client and tell them they're out of money, especially today when a big part of retirement income planning is those sources that can provide guaranteed income as long as you live. That's the key. And an individual could have a lot of money saved for retirement and think, I've got plenty. I won't run out of money. But when we look at the potential for the different risk that could occur during retirement, it needs to be guaranteed. So again, give your situation some thought. How are you positioned? And should you take a good look at what I've talked about during today's show? Call me if you're just not sure or you're questioning your current plan. And hopefully you have a plan. I know there's so many out there that I see that don't. And it's critical. Here's the number to call, 888-426-0177. I'll give you that number again, 888-426-0177. I've really enjoyed bringing you the Safe Money and Retirement Show, and I hope you have got some good ideas this morning that you can apply to your retirement planning. I'm Jon Heischman. Be sure to tune in next week at the same time, the same station, for another edition of the Safe Money and Retirement Show.
The Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr. To get in touch with Jon, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. For more information about Heischman Financial Services, visit their website, HeischmanFS.com. That's HeischmanFS.com. Join us again next time for the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.